What are the 3 weeks? Well, the 3 weeks are the darkest and saddest time of the year in the Jewish calendar. Known as the Bein HaMitzarim, the 3 weeks begin with the 17th of Tammuz and culminate on the 9th of Av. On the 17th of Tammuz, we fast from dawn to dusk, and then on the 9th of Av, we do a full 25-hour fast. On the 17th of Tammuz, we remember and fast and mourn over when Moses came down Mount Sinai and saw the children of Israel worshiping the golden calf. He shatters the tablets. Also on this day, the city walls of Jerusalem were breached by both the Babylonian and the Roman soldiers. So throughout the 3 weeks, we are mourning and thinking about these terrible things that have happened, and our mourning intensifies as we move closer to the 9th of Av. Restrictions on various things of pleasure are put in place by different and various traditions, but the idea is that this is a time of mourning. And so this helps us to remember and call back to the words of the Master, who said, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." So as things culminate on the 9th of Av, the saddest and darkest day of the year in the Jewish calendar, we think about the sin of the spies, when they came back with their evil report that the land of Israel should not be settled. And the Israelites, the children of Israel, believed them and did not believe in the promise that God had given to Abraham. And so they mourned all that night. We think about the destruction of both the first and second holy temple on the day of the 9th of Av. We think about the destruction that has occurred throughout all of time, and we mourn on these days. We mourn also about the darkness in the world currently. We mourn about the imperfections that still exist in our reality, and we also mourn about the darkness that we have still within us. So as we go through these 3 weeks, it's not only a mourning of things from the past, but it's fasting and mourning about our own present state, about how far we have drifted from who Hashem has created us to be, about the darkness that we still hold on to, and we cry. But it's through this mourning that brings forth a joy and a consolation and a comfort that cannot be experienced without the mourning first. That is why Yeshua says, "Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted." If we don't mourn, we can't be comforted. If we don't attach ourselves to the Jewish people and mourn for the destruction of the temples and the things of the past, if we don't attach ourselves to Yeshua and mourn for the people that we have not yet become and the dark things of old and the dark things we still hold on to, we can't experience the joy and the comfort of the redemption that will come, also the transformation of who we can be. During these 3 weeks, think about the difference between the world to come and this world, with a longing for that place. And I ask that when you come to the 9th of Av, you would taste the ashes that are traditionally eaten on the egg as the last thing that's tasted before the fast begins. Remember the destruction of the temple, and you would remember your darkest self, the darkest parts of who you are, and that you would mourn that. It's through that mourning that Hashem sees us and says that person has a yearning for the redemption. And it's from that mourning that comfort comes. It's from that mourning that joy and gladness and dancing occurs. It's from that mourning that the darkness turns to dawn. So I encourage you that even though this is a dark part of the year, that there's a spiritual work to do. There's a spiritual work to look inwardly and to be honest with ourselves and to know that we aren't perfected yet, but we are being perfected. And looking at those places that have not been perfected yet, to mourn those places, because that shows that we desire that we will be like Him. And we also mourn the destruction of this world and mourn the Holy Temple, because that shows the desire that we have for the redemption, for the coming of Yeshua upon the clouds of heaven, for the rebuilding of the third Holy Temple, for the resurrection of the dead. So I ask you to focus and be conscious as you go through these 3 weeks, because these 3 weeks are the fuel that leads us through the next 7 weeks of consolation into the new year and the fall holy days. May you have not just an easy fast, but may you have a meaningful fast.